Hi everybody, I'm Joey Paul and I'm an indie author and welcome back to my channel. I write young adult fiction across a variety of genres, and if you think that might interest you, then think about subscribing below. So today we're going to do a tag. It's the Get to Know the Author tag. I saw it on Steve Donahue's channel, which is linked below, and there are 10 questions and I'm just going to jump right to it. Number 1, at what time of day do you usually write? I write anywhere from between 4 AM to 6 AM depending on how well I slept the night before. I wake up naturally early in the morning and I just get on with writing whenever it's time to do it. Number 2, do you outline your work or just wing it? I do a mixture of the two. I do outline, but it's a very minimal outline, and a lot of the time I find myself going off plan, but other times I'm sticking to the plan. I have an idea of the story in my head and I'm just kind of like making it work on the page. Number 3, what authors do you admire the most? I've always been someone who really loves crime mystery from a very young age. I think it was probably because my mum used to listen to audiobooks on the way to places, so they play in the car and I'd get into the story and all the rest of it. So I grew up listening to like Dick Francis, Harlan Coben, stuff like that. But when you talk about authors that I admire the most, I really admire Harlan Coben. I auto-buy every single one of his books, but he's not really the same genre that I write in the fact that he mostly writes adult. He has done a young adult series, but I guess that would be the author. But I also love Sue Grafton because I love the Kinsey Millhone series, and I've read every single one of those as well multiple times. But I don't really think there's a young adult author apart from maybe Jacqueline Wilson that I really admire. She's a British author and she's more middle grade than young adult, but she has written some young adult. That's a long-winded way of saying there are a lot of authors, but I can't narrow it down to just one. Number 4, what's your least favourite genre to write or read? I'm one of those people that pretty much reads everything within reason. If it sounds interesting, then I'll pick it up and read it. But I would imagine that my least favourite genre to write would be epic fantasy, and the fact that I've never tried it. And same with reading. It's something about it just doesn't appeal to me. I have tried reading it and I just find myself getting lost with all the world building and stuff like that. Saying that, I will read and write urban fantasy and I do really enjoy that. So, you know. Number 5, do you want writing to be a hobby or is your goal to write full time? Now technically I do write full time, it is my only job, but I don't make enough to consider that my sole source of income. So my goal is eventually to be big enough and to write enough to make that my sole source of income. Hasn't happened yet and I've been doing this about 18 years, so we'll see. Number 6, what's the hardest part of writing for you? Probably editing, which I know is not technically part of the drafting process, but when you say writing, I consider that part of the writing process. I'm not a fan of editing. I never have been a fan of editing. I always find it very hard and very nitpicky, and it's just very difficult for me to do. But that said, it is something that's necessary part of the process, and it's something that I force myself to do. So yeah. Number 7, do you have a writing routine? I do, in the fact that I write around the same time of day every time I write, but I don't in the fact that I'm not strict about it, in the fact that it has to be between this time and this time, and if I don't get that time then it's not happening. Like I said, I wake up early in the morning anyway naturally, so it's just about when I feel like writing during that day. I will generally be done with work by about 9 AM and that's when I start to sort of do my relaxation start of the day. So I don't really have a set writing routine, but I do in the fact that I will write on my tablet, I will write on my desk, I will have a cup of tea, that kind of thing. Number 8, what's your solution to writer's block? I don't generally get writer's block anymore. I find that because I know the story quite well before I start to write it, I don't really get blocked, and if I do get blocked, I just try and write through it, which I know doesn't work for everybody, and I'm not giving that as advice, but my solution is basically to sit my butt in the chair and keep going. But that's something that I know personally works for me, and so yeah. Number 9, how long have you had a writing blog? See, I do have a writing blog in the fact that I blog as well as I write, and I've had that for about 10 years, maybe a bit longer, but I don't just write about my life on there. I write writing advice pieces, I do spotlights on Fridays, I post my Authortube videos there, etc, etc. And number 10, do you think having a writing blog has helped your writing in any way? I'm going to class this as do you think having an Authortube as well, because I think these questions were more for blogs, and you know, but having a writing blog or having an Authortube both have really helped me in the fact that they've helped widen my writing community. They've helped me find new writers, they've helped me find new ways of doing things and all of that. So I think they have helped. It's nice to have a community around you and all of that stuff. So yeah, those are the 10 questions. If you feel like doing it, consider yourself tagged. I just fancied doing a quick tag today just because I'm tired and it's very late at night or early in the morning, depending on your point of view. So yeah, do you have a writing routine? If you do, let me know in the comments down below. So that's all I got time for today. If you want to support my channel, you can comment, like, or subscribe. I post new videos on Thursdays. You can find me all over social media, and my books are available everywhere, and you can also sign up for my newsletter. And don't forget to pick up Crime Chronicles: The Second Pang, which is the second in a Young Adult Urban Fantasy series. And also don't forget to grab a ticket for All the City in Birmingham in July, where I'll be signing books. All the links for which are listed below. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep writing. Bye.